Jerusalem. For centuries, a city of prophets and a beacon of peace for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. Pilgrims from across the world sought solace here, drawn by its sanctity and the coexistence of faiths under Fatimid rule. Its markets bustled with languages and cultures, a rare tapestry of tolerance. But far away in Europe, a new vision of Jerusalem was taking shape, one of conquest, not coexistence. Tales of hardship and desecration, fueled by ambition and religious fervor, painted the city as a captive in need of rescue. The reality of peaceful Jerusalem was lost to a dangerous narrative. In 1099, the Crusaders arrived, an army driven by zeal, not understanding. For Jerusalem's people, Muslims, Jews, and Eastern Christians, this was an invasion like no other. The peace that defined the city was shattered by the thunder of siege engines and the cries of war. The fall of Jerusalem became a brutal collision of worlds, transforming a shared holy city into a symbol of cruelty. The city of peace was about to become a graveyard, its sanctity forever scarred. The devastation began in 1095 when Pope Urban II's sermon in Clermont ignited Europe. He called on Christians to reclaim the Holy Land, promising forgiveness of sins for those who took up the cross. Nobles saw glory and land, peasants saw escape and salvation. The Pope's message swept across Europe, uniting lords, knights, and commoners in a single cause. Deus vult, God wills it, became their rallying cry. Preachers like Peter the Hermit stirred the masses, leading thousands, many untrained, on the People's Crusade, a disastrous prelude to the main army. The First Crusade was a chaotic mix of faith, greed, and prejudice, each group with its own ambitions. United by the belief they were God's army, the Crusaders marched east, convinced their cause justified any act. This conviction would drive them through unimaginable hardship and unleash horrors on Jerusalem. The march to Jerusalem was a brutal ordeal, thinning the Crusader ranks to the most hardened. For 3 years they crossed mountains, rivers, and deserts, often starving and pillaging to survive. Even fellow Christians in Byzantium saw them as a threat, not liberators. Their journey was marked by bloody battles, most notably the grueling siege of Antioch. Starvation and despair nearly broke them, but a mix of treachery and religious fervor led to victory and a massacre. The survivors pressed on, fewer in number but more ruthless, leaving behind those who claimed new lands. By June 1099, the Crusaders reached Jerusalem, a shadow of their former force. Hardened by suffering, they believed they were chosen by God. As they gazed upon the city, their pilgrimage neared its end. Only one final, terrible battle remained. The Crusaders, exhausted and desperate, faced Jerusalem's formidable walls and a determined garrison. With no siege equipment and little food or water, their initial assaults failed. In despair, they turned to prayer, marching barefoot around the city in a show of faith. Mocked by defenders, their resolve only hardened. Salvation arrived with Genoese ships, bringing engineers and timber for siege towers. Under leaders like Godfrey and Raymond, they built massive towers and prepared for a final assault. On July 14, 1099, the attack began. Siege towers rolling under a hail of arrows. After fierce fighting, Godfrey's tower breached the northern wall. The gates were thrown open, and the Crusaders surged into the city. What followed was not victory but a bloodbath. The Crusaders unleashed a massacre, sparing no one. Men, women, children, the elderly. Holy sites became scenes of horror. Thousands seeking refuge in Al-Aqsa Mosque were slaughtered. Chroniclers described blood running ankle-deep in the streets. Jerusalem's Jewish community, trapped in their synagogue, was burned alive. For 2 days, the killing continued, purging the city of its diverse inhabitants. When the violence ended, the Crusader leaders, armor stained with blood, gave thanks at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. In their minds they had cleansed the city, not committed a crime. Jerusalem, once a mosaic of faiths, was left a ghost town, its streets littered with corpses. Survivors were forced to burn the dead in great pyres. The conquest was complete, but the cost was the desecration of holiness itself. The legacy of this massacre would haunt the region for centuries, fueling hatred and mistrust that endures to this day.